Hey guys, it's Kevin here for Girl Meets World, Season 2, Episode 4, Girl Meets Pluto. And that might be maybe the greatest title this show has given us so far, because honestly, that title works so well with the episode. Honestly, I really love the message of this episode. This was by far, honestly, I know I said that Season 2, Episode 1 might be the greatest episode of the show. No, this episode kicked that episode's ass. This episode was the best episode of the entire show so far. Honestly, it was perfect. It was... I have to say it was better than the Christmas episode. Really, it was. Because, again, it was an episode with Shawn. But what I like is that they're using Shawn as less of just a guest appearance and more as a character now. He's now, I'm pretty sure he's going to be a huge part of this season because of what he has to do, of what he has in this episode. Definitely, I feel like he's going to be a huge part of the season. I hope that's true because he was amazing in this episode. But this episode in general was absolutely amazing. It was probably the most serialized episode of the show yet, honestly. This episode didn't just feel like a one-and-done thing. It feels like this is going to be a story that goes on for a while, and I'm hoping that that's true, because that could be really good if that is a story that goes on for a while. Well, let's get into this episode because it was amazing. There's a lot to talk about, and I loved every minute of this episode. It was perfect. Corey's giving the class a lesson on history, and he starts to talk about Pluto. Riley doesn't realize that Pluto is not a planet anymore because her friends actually never told her because of the heartbreak that she's going through. And I thought it was kind of funny that we saw that Riley didn't know that. I thought that was really funny overall. But it really works as a good device because Riley gets really upset when she realizes that Pluto is not a planet anymore. And she kind of still thinks that it is because Pluto is all by itself. And basically, Corey talks about how history affects us. Now, this was a great opening scene. He's talking about how history affects us, and Farkle suggests, and he says, you know, what do you guys want to do about your history? And Farkle suggests they make a time capsule of all their things and put it into a time capsule. And Corey tells him it's a great idea, and he realizes that there's a time capsule that him, Topanga, and Shawn buried 15 years ago, and it's been 15 years since they opened it, since they buried it, so they're finally going to open up that time capsule and see what's in there, and basically that's what they plan on doing. So this episode basically focuses on that, but first, and I really love seeing that, because you see Corey, he goes into full mode, and he really wants this to work out, and Lucas, Farkle, Maya, and Riley are discussing what to put in the time capsule, and Lucas finds this picture, this trophy that his dad gave him for a rodeo race. So I thought this was a very good reveal about Lucas, I have to say. Ever since episode 3, it seems like they're trying to do a lot more with Lucas, and this episode definitely shows that. Definitely a lot more than just he's the love interest and the good-looking guy on the show. It definitely is more than that, so he is actually given this thing where he always wanted to be in a rodeo. He always wanted to be a professional rodeo race, and that's really what he always wanted in life. And they're making fun of it for him. But Katy, Maya's mother, encourages Lucas to go for to follow his dreams, and that he might actually still have a chance. And I thought that was really well done, I have to say. They're really putting Katy to good use. I love what she says she's trying to do what Corey's paying her doing. Thought that was really well done as well. And at least I really enjoyed watching this. Seeing Katy play a much bigger role in this show. Ever since Topanga got that job, Katy's played a much bigger role, and I hope she continues to play this big role. Because she honestly is a great character. I really like what they're doing with Katy's character, I have to say. She's a great character. And I love that they did that. I thought that was really good overall. So Corey really talks to Topanga about going back to Philadelphia, and Topanga doesn't really want to hear about it. She really wants nothing to do with it. She doesn't want to go back to Philadelphia, and he tells her about the time capsule that they buried, and she immediately is interested, but he doesn't know how to get Shawn back, so he actually tells Shawn there's this major emergency, and Shawn comes back and he's like, who's hurt? And I thought it was really funny when we saw that, basically Shawn's trying to figure out his hurt and everything, and I love the scene where Corey tells him that he wants to come back to Philadelphia, but Shawn's really pissed because he was just in Philadelphia, which I thought was really funny overall that we found that out, and basically they go back to Philadelphia, they're digging up the time capsule, and basically they see Feeny. Yes, Corey gets a weird feeling, and they see Feeny, and Feeny is back for, this is probably we saw him physically in episode 1, but this is the first time they've seen Feeny in 15 years, and it feels like there's been no time since they've been apart. This was perfect, because the second they meet him, they're like, are we getting attention for what we did? And he's like, adult detention, and I love what he said in big boy detention, they're like, I don't think we're ready for big boy detention. That was hilarious, I thought that was great. And then we get, one of the funniest moments of this entire show, I have to say. This was hilarious. I love this. Because, basically, we see, Oh, before this, though, we do see that Corey talks about wanting them all to go on the road trip with him, and Riley and Maya first don't really want to, but Shawn actually ends up, Corey ends up bringing up Angela, who Shawn hasn't thought of in years, and this really makes Maya very worried, because, of course, you know, she really wants Shawn and Katy together, because it seemed like they had something, but they decide that they're going to go on the road trip, and we see Riley and Maya go up to Feeny, and they do the Feeny call. Oh my god, I was freaking out when they did the Feeny call to Feeny. I thought that was hilarious. His reaction was great. I love when he's like, is your father treat you right? Because you're pretty... Did your father treat you right? God bless us all. I thought that was hilarious that he said that. And I thought that was overall just really funny, I have to say. Definitely. I love the way they put those characters used. Because this episode was a lot more about... Corey, Topanga, and Shawn than it was about Riley and Maya. It was pretty much about everyone, but it was mainly about those three, which I thought was very good, and I really love that they did that. So, basically, they get the time capsule, and Riley said that she was digging for hours, and she found this metal box, and I love that she didn't realize it was the time capsule. Riley's not dumb, she's just very naive, and I think it's really funny the way they showed that in this episode. They didn't show that she's dumb, but she definitely is kind of naive, and I thought that was really funny. So... And this is the way Riley should be written. Don't write her as, like, this perfect person. Write her as this, because this was hilarious. I love seeing her as, like, this naive person who doesn't know what she's doing. I thought it was really funny overall they did there. I thought overall that was really good. So, they go back to their house, and they're digging up the time capsule, and they find all this stuff in the time capsule, which you get so much nostalgia from Boy Meets World in just this scene, and I loved it. I loved all the stuff we find out that they buried here. I thought this was great. The first thing they find is the jean jacket that Corey gave to Topanga when they first got together, and it still fits her, and I thought that was amazing. It was the first time they say I love you to each other, if you remember, and that was such a great episode in Season 3, Episode 3. I still remember the episode, but, you know, basically... he finds a jean jacket, and she puts it on, it still fits her, and I thought that was so cute. I love that we saw that. I thought that was amazing that we saw that they did that. But then we get to the really big part, because we also, we see like a concert ticket and things like that, but then Corey finds this note from Topanga, and all this time he thought it was from Topanga, but we find out that it actually wasn't from Topanga. All this time, it was from Lauren. If you remember... all those seasons ago, Topanga found that note from Lauren, but she never told Corey about it. For the first time, Corey finds out about it, and he's genuinely upset. I like that Corey was upset with Topanga because he should be upset with her. I mean, this is a big deal. This wasn't a small thing that, you know, happened. This was a big deal, and I like that he was genuinely upset with her about it. Like, he told her, why didn't you tell me about this? And it was a no, and that basically she stretched it up, and they stopped talking about it. But I like that he was upset about it, and I like they brought up Lauren in the show because that is a very important part of the show. And I love Corey and... Riley and Maya's reaction, though, that was really great as well. I thought that was just overall very funny. I definitely really enjoyed that. So, that was really good. So then we see that Shawn really starts to talk about Angela, and this makes Maya very upset, because she sees that Shawn is talking about Angela, and she really wants Shawn to be the father in her life, because he really has been like that father in her life in a way, and the fact that he's been with Katy, and then he's starting to get closer, she really thought that they had something, and I love that she's just like, bye, Shawn. So Riley goes with Maya to talk, and... basically, they talk about what's going on with Shawn, and Riley compares this to Pluto, how Pluto is still a planet, just like, and I love what they talk about this, because it's not just that Pluto's a planet, it's that there's a lot of possibilities that Pluto could still be a planet, and that goes with Shawn as well, that Shawn will get what he wants, and I like that Riley talked about how Corey always knew he'd be with Topanga. I thought that was really good as well, and because of that, him knowing that, the same thing could happen to Shawn, and Maya shouldn't be worried about this. And I loved seeing this scene where, you know, Riley's talking to Maya, trying to cheer her up. I thought it was overall just a really well done scene, I have to say. Because then Shawn comes in, Riley tells Shawn that he's going to find, you know, what he needs. He's going to find what he needs to be successful, and not just Angela, but what he needs to be happy in his life. And I thought that was really good. Just like Riley is going to find Pluto, Shawn will find Pluto, and I thought that was really good overall. I definitely really enjoyed that, I have to say. I thought that was a great scene. And, I really hope that Shawn plays a more pivotal role in this season, because the way they're going with that, there is no way they can just tell there's no way they can just tell us in like a few episodes. I know we're going to see Angela again, and I love when they were just reminiscing about Angela and how You know, Corey always thought that they would be the Corey and Topanga. They always thought they'd be like them. But of course, there is that great scene where they talk about how they're not like Corey and Topanga. And season 7, if you remember, there's that scene where they're on the couch and they're talking about how they're not like Corey and Topanga. I thought that was really good, and I definitely really enjoyed that. Oh, also, I forgot to talk about this. When they saw Feeny again, the flashbacks that they showed, oh my god, that was awesome. I love that they did that. That was amazing. So, we get one last final scene of Riley, Maya, Farkle, and Lucas talking about what they're going to put in the time capsule, and Lucas decided that he didn't want to put something in the time capsule that ashamed him, so he decided to put his transfer note into the time capsule, which I thought was a good thing, because it was really when he decided to turn his life around, was when he put that note in the time capsule. And that's what he decides to do. He decides to put it in the time capsule, to put it there, and basically, when he's putting it in there, we also see that Farkle puts his turtleneck in there. You know, the turtleneck that he wore when he felt like he was nothing, but they made him feel better. That's why he puts that in there. Now, Riley puts in, Pluto because of the possibilities, and that she wants to look back and knows that she is happy with her life, and knows that she did something with her life, and I thought that was really good that she said that. I thought that was a really good line, and a really good message for everyone, honestly. Everyone wants to do something meaningful with their life, and wants to do what they want, and she wants to know that she's doing what she wanted to do with her life, and I love that she said that. Now, Maya doesn't want them to see what she puts in her time capsule. So they all go away, and we see what it is, and it honestly is a pretty heartbreaking scene. It's a picture of Shawn and Katy giving her a birthday, giving her an actual birthday celebration, and you really, it's a huge scene because you realize that she really is starting to get attached to Shawn as a father and really wants him to be there with Katy. And we see that there definitely is possibility for these two to get together, but I like that right now they're just friends because I like the way they end the episode with them talking about possibilities and just how close they're getting. And Riley talks about how they're talking about Pluto and that Shawn's going to find Pluto and that Maya's going to find Pluto as well. I thought that was just a really good way to end this episode, I have to say. I thought that was really good. And I definitely really enjoyed that. I thought overall it was a perfect way to end the episode, and definitely worked very well as the perfect ending. Definitely, I thought that was great. So, one thing I definitely want to say about this episode I thought was really well done. That's basically how the episode ends, but one thing I definitely want to say is I love the storylines that are going on now in the episode, because they have to make Shawn a series regular now. They basically have to make him a series regular. The storyline that he's going through, I think, is really well done, because he's basically going to find, you know, finding Pluto has to do with finding what you want to do in life, finding what you are happy with, and the possibilities, really. Because the possibilities, really, for Shawn are endless. Yes, he's a writer, but he doesn't really have anyone. He could possibly end up back, you know, back with Angela. We know she's coming back this season, which I'm pretty sure is evidence that they're probably going to have some sort of a date. I know that they're going to have a scene together. I can't wait for that to happen, because I really did love Angela. I thought she was a great character. I hope that does happen. But let's talk about Maya's whole thing with the time capsule. Is she ever going to tell Riley what's in there? I mean, I'm definitely interested in seeing if they ever do dig up that time capsule sooner than I think they do, because I think that's really interesting overall. I like seeing Lucas have more to do. I think that's really well done as well. Everyone really had something to do in this episode I thought was really good, and I definitely really enjoyed that. Do you think that Katy and Shawn are going to get together, or is Shawn going to get back together with Angela? I'm not really sure. It seems like they really want to set up Katy and Shawn getting together, which I think is really good, because I really do like these two together. I think they should get back together, and if they want to get them back together, I think that's really good. I would really like to see that happen. That would be really well done if they did that. I really enjoy that. The only character with nothing to do was Augie, but again, we did not have a subplot in this episode. I kind of feel like they're reverting from. They're trying to revert from subplots so we have more time for the main storyline, which was great, and I loved the nostalgia we got in this episode. We didn't have really meta in this episode. We actually did, sort of. The joke with them talking about how her friends always shield her, and that there's so much going on in the world, and they just protect her from it. I thought that was really funny, but it was more just nostalgic episode. I mean, there was so much nostalgia in this episode. Seeing the Feeny call was just, oh my god, I love that. I thought that was amazing. Seeing the whole thing with Corey and Shawn react to seeing Feeny again. I really hope we do see more of Feeny. I feel like we're going to definitely see a lot more of him this season. And also seeing Shawn back. Shawn, just seeing him play a much bigger role in this episode I thought was awesome. Because he did play a big role in the Christmas episode, but he played a much bigger role in this episode, and he played a bigger role in the in Maya's birthday episode as well, which I thought was really good. But this is probably the biggest role that Shawn has played, I have to say. Definitely something I really enjoyed, is also seeing Maya's development. This is how Maya should be treated on the show. This is why Sabrina Carpenter is such a great actor, because she's dealing with a very mature storyline that really is just she wants her parent, she wants a dad in her life, and that's really what's going to make her happy, is for her mom to be happy, and for it not to be her and her mom all the time, because that's what she's tired of. She wants her mom to have someone that makes her happy, and Shawn seems to make her mom happy, and she really wants these two together, and I'm really wondering if they are going to get together. If they're not, I'm very interested in what's actually going to happen there, because that could be really interesting overall. I definitely like what we're seeing there as well. I think that's really good. So tonight we're going to see Eric on the show, which I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see what they do with Eric's storyline. It's going to be hilarious. I am sure what they're going to do there is going to be great. But that's going to be awesome, seeing Eric on the show. I can't wait for that. And also seeing, basically I hope he sticks around as well. I hope we see more of Feeny again. I think that was really good. And also just seeing the whole thing where Courtney Pango react to Lauren's letter, I thought was really good as well. I definitely really enjoyed that, too. I thought that overall was just really, really great. So overall, this probably was the best episode of Boy Meets World, maybe of Girl Meets World, maybe of all time. I have to say, everyone had something to do. Everyone played a pivotal role. And it's not as big as the killing off of Mrs. Zavorsky, no, but it really is just giving characters more to do and less on silly stuff. It really didn't focus on anything silly. It wasn't like episode 2 where they tried to do like 3 storylines, and I definitely feel like they're trying to focus more on one storyline, which I think is really well done. Not that I don't love seeing Augie get his own storyline, but when you show too much of a storyline, I mean, how much can you show of Augie having this friend Joy? Like, how much can you really show of that? So I like this episode, really tried to focus more on this storyline. It was very well done. The message was great. I love the message of possibilities and just trying to do something with your life. I thought that was an awesome message. And I absolutely love this episode. And let me know what you guys saw of this episode. What do you think of seeing Shawn again? What do you think of all the nostalgia in this episode? I was really hyped up for this episode. It really did not disappoint. I have to say it was great. And I'm really loving this season. This season is such a big improvement over season 1, honestly. It just feels like a completely different show, and I love that. But that's my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be for a movie review, and I will see you guys for that, which I'm pretty sure you guys know what it's for. It's for a movie that came out this week. You guys probably know what it's for, but I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.